So hey guys, today I figured I would film a cooking video for you guys since I haven't done one in a while. This is going to just be your simple crock-pot hamburger soup. I also make cornbread to go with this, so that's always an option, but it's up to you guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to need. You're definitely going to need a crock pot. You're going to need some vegetables. I just have a bag of frozen mixed peas and carrots and this bag of frozen corn. After that, you're just going to need some elbow macaroni. You're only going to need about a cup or two. You're going to need a pound of burger. You guys know I always use turkey burger, but you guys can use the regular like ground round, ground chuck, whatever your family likes. You're going to need an onion. You're going to need some garlic. I also use Creole, but you don't need that. And you're going to need some beef broth, or you're going to need some bouillon cubes to make your own beef broth. I just prefer to get this at my grocery store. It's the reduced sodium fat-free beef broth. And you're only going to need, depending on how much vegetables and stuff you use, like if you guys only use a cup of macaroni and like a cup each of vegetables or something like that, then you're only going to need to use about 12 ounces of beef broth. But because I'm going to be using a little bit more, I'm actually going to be using 16 ounces of beef broth. I'm not going to use the whole 32-ounce box. So I'm just using 16 ounces. Then you're going to need a can of tomato soup. So that's pretty much it for the ingredients that you guys will need to actually make this hamburger soup. Okay, the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and get your burger into brown. So I just put it in a skillet and I chopped up a large onion. Now you guys can use a small onion if you want. It's just I really like to put a lot of onion in mine because I think it really makes it taste super good. And yeah, so just use whatever size onion you want and chop it up as small or as large as you want to brown with your burger. Then I'm just going to take some of this garlic powder because I do not have any fresh garlic, and I'm going to put garlic in that as well. Like I said, I do use Creole seasoning, if I can get it open here. Everybody has asked me what Creole seasoning is, and basically, let me just read it to you. It has salt, red pepper, black pepper, chili powder, garlic, those types of spices in this is what it says. And it's the original Creole seasoning from Tony. I can't even read this through the camera so you guys can see there. And I just sprinkle some on the burger as well. Now I'll just let my burger brown and cook up completely done and let the, everything, mix together. Okay, I hope you guys can see this because the lighting is a little dark here in my kitchen today. Now I'm just going to take my entire bag of corn and I'm going to use the whole bag because I actually got the steamer bag and I can't use the corn in the steamer bag once it's, open like this. So I'm just going to use the whole bag of corn, and I'm going to put about half of the bag of peas and carrots in. Okay, now I have my peas and corn in there, and I just took a spoon and kind of stirred them, kind of mixed them. But if you guys got a bag of mixed vegetables, of course you won't have to do that. So now I'm just going to take my entire 16 ounces of beef broth, and I'm going to pour that in here. Like I said, if you're using less vegetables and less macaroni than me, then only use about 12 ounces of beef broth. You don't have to use the full 16 ounces like I did. And I actually might need to put more in here once I get my macaroni and stuff in here too. But I just stuck the rest in the fridge in case I needed it. Now I'm just going to pour in the tomato soup. And I hope you guys can see because it looks a bit dark on the camera. But we're really not doing anything special here other than just putting stuff in the crock pot and getting it all mixed together. You guys can see I'm just stirring everything together in here. You can make this as dry or as like liquidy as you want this soup to be. Okay, after I have that done, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn my crock pot on low and let that start to kind of heat up because my crock pot does take a bit to heat up. My burger over here is about halfway done browning, but I want the burger to be really good and done and brown. So once the burger is completely done, if you've used a burger that has a lot of grease on it, make sure you drain it all off. You don't want to pour it into your soup. So drain your burger and then pour it into your soup mixture is basically all you're going to do. And you're going to let that cook on low for about 2.5 hours or so. And then you're going to cook up your elbow macaroni. Now, like I said, I'll probably use about 1.5 cups of my elbow macaroni, maybe 2 cups since I use so many vegetables. But you guys, if you guys are feeding a small family, 1 or 2 people, definitely only use about a cup of vegetables and a cup of macaroni, or you guys are going to have a ton of soup left over. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to put this in just now. Wait till about the last 2 hours of cooking time and then make these and pour it in to cook the last 2 hours. So after the burger's done, you're going to pour it into your crock pot, turn it on low or high, it's up to you, for about 2.5 hours. If you turn it on high, don't cook it that long. This soup, everything is pretty much already done. You're just cooking the vegetables. So it's only going to need about a good 4-hour cook time. So I'm going to cook it for about 2.5 hours, put my elbow macaroni in, cook it for maybe an additional 2 hours, and be done with it. So altogether about 4.5 hours I'm going to cook this. Okay guys, I am back. My burger is now completely browned, and the onions, you can see, is like transparent, which tells me that it's done. And because I use turkey burger, you guys can see I do not have any grease with mine, but if you used regular burger, then you will. So next step is to basically transfer this into your crock pot there and stir everything together. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay guys, I've got my burger in there, and I'm just going to try to scoop this out a bit so you guys can see what the consistency is. I did have to add a little bit more beef broth to mine because I use so much vegetables and stuff in it. So now I probably have about 18 ounces or so, and I added an additional 2 ounces probably. Once I get my macaroni in, I may have to add more. You just never know. I've never been one to like really measure when I cook. I just throw stuff together until it looks about right, and it always ends up coming out pretty good. So I guess I'm pretty fortunate in that department. But yeah, it's just trial and error. It all depends on how soupy you like your soup. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I have all that in there, I'm just going to put my crock pot lid back on here, and I'm going to move this to high to cook for about an hour, and then I'll move it back down on low. Now, just to kind of, go over what I said for cook time, make sure that you're cooking it at least 4.5 hours. 4 to 4.5 hours. Cook it in your crock pot for 2 hours, and then make your macaroni, and then dump in your macaroni and cook it for the remaining time. So, hey guys, I'm back. It is about 5 o'clock, and the soup is completely done, and I just wanted to come back and show you guys what it looked like once it was finished cooking. I ended up using the entire box of beef broth because I used a little over 2 cups of noodles to go in this because I use so many vegetables. But like I said, if your ingredients are not as, much as mine, then definitely you don't have to use that much beef broth. You can get away with a 12-ounce can of it. But this is the consistency that I was telling you guys that we really like our soup. It's more of kind of like a thick stew in a way. It's not like, you can still tell there's liquid and stuff in there, but it's really soaked it up nice, and the noodles will soak up a lot of your beef broth, so keep that in mind as well. Like, you guys can see the liquid and stuff still there, so it's definitely still like a wet consistency, but it's not like a really wet soup. You know what I'm saying? So this is really good. It's a really hearty meal, and I really, really enjoy making this for my family. It's really good for you too. There's not really hardly anything in here that's bad for you. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I love you guys to death. Thank you guys so much for all of your requests and stuff that you guys have been asking me to do videos on. I appreciate those so much because I get to the point where I don't know what to film anymore. So I appreciate the requests. Keep them coming. If you have anything else that you would like for me to film, definitely leave it in the comments below this video or any of my other videos. You can also leave me a request anywhere on my social media, which is always linked below. So anyway, I love y'all, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.